Oklahoma City issued a permit allowing a mural to be painted on Chartel between Main Street and Colcord Drive. That permit allowed for this mural to be placed in that location and the streets to be closed, not including the intersections. So the block between Main Street and Colcord Drive was the only area that could be restricted for the purpose of painting the mural. Public Works came out and placed road closure signs at the north and south end of this location, allowing the mural to be safe while the participants worked on the mural. Yesterday, while the mural was being worked on, some people moved the road closure signs on the north end outside of Colcord Avenue Drive, encompassing that intersection. That restricted traffic flow where vehicular traffic could not turn east off of Chartel onto Colcord Drive. A short time after that, a police officer was transporting a citizen to police headquarters and came upon the road closure signs. The officer exited their vehicle and moved the road closure sign out of the way so they could access police headquarters. When the officer returned to the vehicle and began driving towards police headquarters, several of the people working on the mural blocked the officer's path in front and on the sides of his vehicle. The permit holder also made contact with the officer and began discussing the situation with the officer. The people who were blocking the officer's path would not allow the officer to drive past onto police headquarters. They began screaming obscenities at the officer and became verbally hostile with the officer. Several other people from the mural area began surrounding the officer's police car as well. There was over a dozen people who were ultimately blocking the officer's path. The officer spoke with the permit holder for some time, trying to resolve the situation. After being unsuccessful, the officer remained very calm and decided to defuse the situation. He backed up and he left, going to police headquarters through a different route. The people who were blocking his path continued to scream obscenities in a very hostile manner toward the officer. The officer notified command of what had happened, and members of our police command made contact with the permit holder, explaining that the permit only allowed for the block between Colcord and Main Street to be restricted and the road closure signs to protect that area. This did not include those intersections. After some time speaking with the permit holder, the road closure signs were moved back to the correct location, and the day continued without further event. Today, 4 of the people who were involved in the incident yesterday came to police headquarters. They were wanting to file a report and a complaint against a police officer. They were told that the lobby was closed because of the COVID restrictions, and this is true for all citizens at this time. They said they wanted to file a report, and they were advised to call 911. That's the current practice. If you need to file a police report, please call 911 if you're inside of the city limits. If you're outside of the city limits, you can call 231-2121. They became very hostile and verbally aggressive while they were inside the entryway at police headquarters, and ultimately becoming very disorderly. A supervisor was dispatched to this location, as is common for any time a complaint is being filed against an officer. A supervisor would be dispatched to any scene of that nature. Before the supervisor arrives, the 4 people involved became so disorderly that they were placed under arrest for disorderly conduct. One of the individuals was also arrested and charged with threatening an act of violence by statements that she had made during the incident. During yesterday's incident with the police car and today's incident at police headquarters, several people were filming, broadcasting the event live on social media. We have captured recordings that were posted on social media regarding both of these events, and will provide those to the media.
Arrested this morning.
I was actually watching his live footage of them in there, and my heart just sank. I've been telling him for the last almost month to just pay attention, and they were going to try to bait them and do things. And so I knew today when I watched the live, I went with my gut feeling.
Some of us haven't seen that video yet. We're waiting to see it. Can you just kind of describe what happened?
What I saw was them in there, and it was very short, but they were asking to file a police report on the officer that almost hit them yesterday with a vehicle, and they wouldn't let them in, and then the live went off. So I called him and asked him if he was okay. He told me he'd call me back. I waited about 10 minutes, called back, and then his phone was turned off.
So right now police are saying the 4 of them were acting disorderly. One of them even threatened violence. Is that what's your reaction to hearing them say that?
I don't know anything about that personally. I didn't see that on there. I don't know if that was on something else, but all I can just comment on is that they've been down here protesting every night. They've been asking for the last month for a meeting with the chief of police. They've been asking for the last month for a meeting with the Mayor David Holt, and nobody has responded to them. They've been out here till 4 o'clock in the morning every night, yelling out the victims' names, trying to get people to listen while police officers antagonize them, laugh at them, smirk at them, give them half things of bread, talking about you must be hungry, just everything that they can do to make them feel less than because they wanted to have a voice.
So I have a question. So this all, I guess, kind of started yesterday, at least according to police. They say that an officer had saw that this road closed sign was moved in front of the intersection outside of the permit. And that's how this altercation yesterday started. Can you run us through what you guys say happened with everything that happened yesterday leading up to the incident that happened this morning in the police department? I'm just trying to get everything straight, what happened.
Well, even if it was blocking the area, the way the police officer responded and how he behaved was completely unprofessional. He almost hit some people down here with a vehicle. They may not understand what was actually meant to be blocked off, but our city officials and our police officers should know that. So if they seen something, he should have spoken in a manner to just educate them and let them know this is a part that needed to be not blocked off so they can get here. But instead, he met them with aggression. And at that point in time, he did tell my son, who was in the car recording, that he was going to arrest him. And he has just been documenting the organization so that way everything is on film on what's going on. And so that was his role of being here, was to make sure that everything comes out correct, because they have been saying a lot of things that's not accurate. And if it hadn't been on film, our film, not their body cams that they turn on and off when they want to, then the truth can be told the correct way.
So something that they were saying was that after they started talking to the permit holder, that a larger group of people started forming around them. They said that the group was being hostile, was yelling obscenities, and these are literally their words. Do you think that, do you have a response to that? Should the officer have been worried? He turned around
No.
eventually?
This is the thing, you guys. You cannot be. They could keep saying that they're worried and that they're scared and that we're just making sure we're safe. That's not the case when you instantly meet somebody with aggression. If I opened my door and came out to you and was yelling and screaming and going off on you, how do I expect you to respond?
I'm sorry.
It's only common sense. So we have film footage too, and we have everything. We just don't have the bits and pieces that they like to show everybody. And that will be released in due time.
What would make this right?
For people to recognize that we have to have the hard conversations and realization what this country was originally built on. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to change things and move forward.
Sounds like all four are still right now in jail. Any update on their status?
They are going to OR out. That's all that I know right now. They're not telling us too much.
All four of them can?
I don't know about that. They haven't been specific on it.
Y'all staying out here until they do?
Yes, I will not go nowhere until I see my son come out those doors.
What do you plan to tell your son when he does come out the doors?
Oh, we're going to have a talk. We're going to have a talk, but he's done well. He's done well.
Mama's proud?
Yes, very much so.
How so?
Very much so. Yeah, he did exactly what I wanted him to do, and that was stand up for what he believes in, And as a black man out here in today's society, and as a mom who has had to raise him for him to understand that people will treat you like this. My son once paged at the Capitol. He won the leadership scholarship. He shook hands with the governor and the mayor, and they told him how well of a kid he was. They wanted him to get into politics and becoming an attorney. That's all I heard his senior year in high school. He sat on the board with Andy Fugate and the mayor of Dale City. He did so many different things to bring the Dale City community up and bring diversity to Dale City. And this is what he gets repaid with, because the very thing they pushed him to do and to have a voice, to be the change, he did that, and then you send him to jail.